Every time we tried to set boundaries, my husband's parent would suddenly fall ill, saying, "Stress from you two is making me sick." My husband panicked and said, "We should apologize." I smiled, dialed a number, and said, "Perfect, the doctor's on speaker. Let's confirm that." Their fake coughing stopped immediately. My husband, let's call him Mark, and I have been married for a little over 5 years. We live in the suburbs of Denver, Colorado. We both work full-time, no kids yet, but we're busy. Life is demanding. That being said, we've worked really hard to build our home together and keep it peaceful. And then, there's Mark's parents. The first year of marriage was good. I knew his parents were a bit much. His mom in particular always had something to say. About how I folded laundry. About how our living room furniture wasn't welcoming enough. One time she walked in, looked around and said, "Wow, you don't like curtains, huh?" I was literally in the middle of ordering some online that day. It wasn't just the comments. It was the constant dropping by. No calls. Just her little car pulling up outside, and then that slow knock on the door like she lived there. She'd just walk in, sometimes with bags of groceries we didn't ask for, and go, "I thought I'd help with dinner." Mark kept telling me, "That's just how she is. She means well." And I gave her the benefit of the doubt. For years. Then came the boundary talk. I sat Mark down and said, "We need some space. I don't hate your mom, but I can't relax in our own house." He nodded. He looked tired too, to be fair. Said he'd talk to them. So he did. He told them they need to call before coming over and give us some breathing room. Keep in mind, they only live 20 minutes away. It wasn't like they were traveling cross-country. 2 days later, his mom calls. She's coughing on the phone. Weak voice. Says she hasn't been feeling well ever since our conversation. That the stress of being pushed away was making her sick. I kid you not, Mark's face turned pale. "What do we do?" he asked me, completely serious. I said, "We stick to the boundaries." You didn't yell. You didn't insult her. You just said we need privacy. But he felt guilty. Like, actually guilty. Called her back, apologized, said we didn't mean to hurt her. She said, "It's okay, I forgive you both." I'm just so emotional lately. My blood pressure's been wild. The next few weeks? She was suddenly ill. Anytime we even hinted at pushing back. Didn't want to come to dinner with them? That's okay, I've been dizzy all week. Didn't answer her call right away? I had a panic episode thinking something happened. Didn't let her redo our pantry? Stress from you two is just wearing me down. Mark kept falling for it. I could see it happening in real time. He'd cancel our plans to go over and check on her. I'd say, maybe she should see a doctor, and he'd snap, "She doesn't need that kind of stress right now." And here's the part that really got me. She started sending texts directly to me, saying things like, "Not sure what I did to deserve being cut off, but okay." My heart races just thinking about how distant you two are becoming. You won't understand until you're a mother yourself. At first I ignored them. Then I showed them to Mark. He said, "She's just hurt. Don't take it personal." So I stopped talking about it. I wrote everything down instead. Notes, dates, what we said, what her reaction was. I needed to keep track because I was losing my mind. I wasn't being cruel. I wasn't disrespectful. I just wanted her to stop showing up uninvited and rearranging my house. Then one day, we sat her and Mark's dad down. Calm conversation. We said, "Please call before visiting." We're not saying don't come over. We're saying respect our space. And again, she fell ill. Same day. Dramatic call to Mark. Said she couldn't breathe from crying so hard. "I don't want to end up in the hospital over this," she said. Mark panicked. "Should we go over there?" I said, "Why don't we call her doctor? If she's really unwell, they'll help her faster than we can." He froze. "I don't think she'd want that." I said, "Exactly." A week later, she did it again. We had a dinner planned with friends. She called in the afternoon, saying she hadn't eaten all day, was too weak to stand, and that she thinks her blood sugar was dropping from heartbreak. Mark looked at me and I could tell he was torn. So I did what needed to be done. I picked up my phone, put it on speaker, and called the local urgent care center she told us she went to last year. "Hi," I said to the receptionist. "My mother-in-law keeps saying she's very ill and won't see a doctor. If I give you her name, can you tell me if she's been in recently?" The woman said, "We can't give details, but we can confirm whether or not she's been seen." I gave the name. She paused. "No, ma'am, we don't have any recent visits under that name." I said, "Thanks." And right then, Linda's fake coughing on the phone stopped. Like mid-wheeze. Silence. Then she said, "That was unnecessary." I said, "So is lying to your son." I hung up. Mark sat there, looking like someone had hit him with a brick. And then, she called his dad. Said I was attacking her. Said I was trying to ruin their relationship. Said I was manipulating her son away from his family. He came over the next day to talk sense into us. I showed him the call log. I showed him the doctor's office transcript. I asked for a printed confirmation. He didn't say much. Just shook his head and left. Now, Mark is starting to see it. He's quiet, a little embarrassed. He keeps asking, why would she do this? And I don't have the answer. But I'm documenting everything. Because I know she's not done. And neither am I. So, after the speakerphone moment, you'd think things would finally calm down. Nope. Mark was quiet for days. I could tell he was embarrassed. Like everything finally hit him. He wasn't angry at me, but he was shell-shocked. He kept pacing the living room, saying stuff like, "I can't believe she did that, and was it all fake this whole time?" But while we were trying to process it, his mom was busy behind the scenes. 3 days later, Mark's sister, let's call her Rachel, called him. I could hear her yelling through the phone. "Are you really letting your wife spy on mom? What kind of man does that?" Mark tried to stay calm. "We didn't spy." She lied. Over and over. Rachel didn't want to hear it. She's been crying nonstop. Dad says she hasn't eaten. She's shaking. Here we go again. Mark said, "She's not sick." We checked. "She's pretending." Rachel's voice dropped. "Cold. I don't know who you've become." She hung up. Next came the Facebook posts. Oh yeah, ML went full social media warrior. She posted a black and white photo of some wilted flowers with the caption, "Sometimes the ones you love the most hurt you the deepest." I'll always love my son, even when his wife tries to destroy me. A bunch of her church friends commented, "Praying for you. God sees the truth. Stay strong, sweetie. You're such a good mother. This is not your fault." And then came the kicker. Someone, probably Rachel, sent me a long message. It started with, "I didn't want to get involved. They always say that," and ended with, "Maybe you should reflect on how you might be the problem." I didn't respond. Instead, I printed it. Added it to the binder. Yup, I have a binder now. Labeled MLBS. Mark was still processing everything, but even he couldn't ignore what was happening. Until one night, he came home from work looking pale. He said, "You're not gonna like this." I asked what happened. Apparently, his mom called his boss. Yup. She found his work number and told the receptionist she was his mother and it was an emergency. She told them Mark was being emotionally manipulated at home and that she was worried for his mental state. Let me repeat that. This woman called her grown, married son's job to tell them I was emotionally abusive. I asked, "What did your boss say?" Mark laughed, but it wasn't a happy laugh. Luckily, my boss thinks she's nuts. He pulled me aside and said, "Family drama? I get it. Keep your personal life personal." But he also said, "If it happens again, we'll have to make a note of it." I sat down. My hands were shaking. "So now she's trying to get you fired." Mark didn't say anything. He just stared at the wall. Then I said something I never thought I'd say. "We need to go no contact." He blinked. Like, completely? I nodded. "Until she gets help or apologizes. She's crossing lines we can't fix." That night, we wrote a joint message. Short and simple, "We're taking space. Please respect our request and do not call, visit, or involve others. We are not open to communication right now." We sent it to his parents. And his sister. then turned off our phones. The next day, we woke up to 18 missed calls, emails, DMs, voicemails. One of them just said, "You're tearing this family apart." Another said, "I pray for your soul." But then, the most insane thing happened. We got a knock at the door. I looked out the peephole, expecting Emile. But it wasn't her. It was a cop. I opened the door, heart racing. "Can I help you?" He said. "We got a welfare check request. Someone said there was emotional abuse happening in the home." I almost laughed. "You're kidding." He wasn't. Mark came to the door, showed ID, explained the situation. The cop looked awkward. "Honestly, this happens more than you'd think. You guys seem fine." And then he left. I turned to Mark. "Your mother called the cops on us." He sat down, head in hands. "What the hell do we do now?" I didn't have an answer. But what I do know, this isn't over. Not even close. I thought calling the cops was her lowest move. I was wrong. After the welfare check, we changed our locks. We added cameras outside. We blocked their numbers. We warned our close friends not to share anything about us with Mark's family. We were exhausted, but still trying to protect our peace. And then, something happened that I still can't wrap my head around. I came home from work one day, pulled into the driveway, and saw a plain silver sedan parked across the street. I didn't recognize it. The person inside was just sitting there, sunglasses on, watching. I went inside, locked the door, and called Mark. "Have you seen a silver car near our house lately?" He paused. "Yeah. I noticed it yesterday. I thought it was just a neighbor's guest." We didn't think too much of it until the knock. 2 days later, I opened the door. 2 women in business casual clothes, clipboards, badges. "Hi, we're from Child Protective Services. We received an anonymous tip about a child in this home being neglected and possibly abused." I stared at them. "What child?" They blinked. "This is the address we were given." Mark walked up behind me. "We don't have any kids." They looked at each other, clearly thrown off. One of them said, "We still need to verify the living situation. Mind if we step inside?" We let them in. Showed them every room, every closet. No signs of children. No signs of neglect or abuse. The whole thing lasted 30 minutes. And when they left, they apologized for the inconvenience. Said it was probably a prank. But they had to investigate every claim. I closed the door and just sat down on the floor. She reported us. Again. Mark was speechless. She told them we were abusing a child we don't even have. He sat down next to me. Why would she do this? And that's when I realized something. "Mark, she's trying to build a case." "What do you mean?" "I think she wants to ruin our reputation. Make you look unstable. Make me look unfit. That way, if we do have a child someday, she can use all of this." He didn't say a word. Just nodded slowly. I opened my binder, added the new entry. At this point, I wasn't just mad. I was scared. So I started digging. I went online, looked into every public record I could find, searched her name, searched Mark's dad, looked through old social media tags. And that's when I found something strange. There was a photo on her old Facebook, one I'd never seen before. From 6 years ago. A baby girl. Tagged location, Prescott, Arizona. Caption, "Our sweet little angel." Such a blessing. But no one in the family ever talked about a baby. No one ever mentioned Arizona. And the timeline didn't make sense. I clicked through the comments. Most of them were from strangers. "She looks just like her mom. She's grown so much." One comment had a name I didn't recognize, Angela M. So I clicked on Angela's profile. And that's when I saw it. Her bio said, "Mama to Alyssa living my second chance." Her location, Prescott, Arizona. And then, the bombshell. A post from 4 years ago. A long emotional message thanking the family who helped raise Alyssa for her first year when I wasn't able to. With a tag, Mark's mother. I stared at the screen. Oh my God. I showed it to Mark. He went pale. I don't know who that is." I kept reading, scrolled further. Angela had a post from last year. It said, "Some people helped me when I hit rock bottom. Others tried to keep my daughter from me. But I got her back. And I'll never let that kind of manipulation happen again." She included court documents in the photos. Guess whose name was on the temporary guardianship form? Mark's mom. I printed it, added it to the binder. Mark sat on the couch, shaking his head. She never told me. None of this. Not a word. And then he whispered, "I bet she thought we'd be next." It hit me like a truck. She tried to keep that baby. And if we had a child, she'd probably try to do it again. But now we had proof. Now we had something real. Now we had leverage. This wasn't just about boundaries anymore. This was about protecting our future. And I was ready to fight. So yeah, Mark's mom had a history. She had taken in a baby girl 6 years ago. Told no one. Not even Mark. She got temporary guardianship of the child while the birth mother, Angela, was dealing with addiction. But when Angela cleaned up and wanted her daughter back, Mark's mom tried to fight it. She dragged it out for almost a year. Angela finally won. Got her daughter back. And then cut all contact. But Mark's mom never forgot. And now it made sense, the lies, the control, the obsession with our marriage, her desperate illnesses, even the CPS call. She wasn't just nosy. She was planning for something bigger. She wanted a child. Ours. That was the final straw for me. I told Mark, we're not just going to defend ourselves anymore. We're going on offense. We called a lawyer. We showed her everything, the emails, the fake illnesses, the CPS report, the Facebook screenshots, the court documents from Arizona. She said, "You have more than enough to file a restraining order." So we did. 2 weeks later, she was served. The next 48 hours? Pure chaos. She showed up at our house screaming at the top of her lungs. Bangs on the door. Accusing me of brainwashing her son. Said I was a witch. A demon. Even yelled, "God will punish you." We didn't open the door. We just watched the whole thing through our security camera. We recorded everything. Mark turned to me, voice flat. "I think my mom's officially lost it. But here's where I messed up." I posted the video. Yep. That clip of her screaming on our porch? I uploaded it to a private Facebook group for our neighborhood, warning people to be cautious of her. One of the members recognized her from church. Shared it outside the group. It went viral. 10,000 views. 50,000. Then 100,000. Comments were brutal. "This woman needs serious help. Imagine being her daughter-in-law. Someone please take her phone away." It got so bad her church kicked her out. Even Mark's dad left her. Said he couldn't do it anymore. He filed for divorce. Moved in with his brother in Nebraska. Mark's sister Rachel blocked us both. Said we ruined everything. But that's not all. Angela, the mother from Arizona, saw the video. She messaged me privately. She said, "I've stayed quiet. But I think it's time the whole truth comes out." She shared documents. Emails. Voicemails. All from the time she was trying to get her daughter back. Messages from Mark's mom, calling Angela unfit, trash, and a useless mother. She even tried bribing a social worker to delay the case. We forwarded it all to the attorney. Mark's mom lost her job after the video spread and the new info came out. She worked at a private school. They told her not to come back. Too much bad press. She called us again. Left a long voicemail sobbing. Said she had nothing left. I didn't respond. But here's the part that hurts to admit. Even though we won, it changed us. Mark doesn't talk to most of his family now. He feels like an orphan. Like he lost his whole past. He drinks more. Smiles less. Me? I became bitter. Distrustful. Cold. I used to think setting boundaries would bring peace. But when those boundaries get attacked hard enough, something else happens. You build walls. High ones. And you never really relax again. We haven't tried for kids. Not yet. Maybe not ever. Because now I know what some people are capable of. I wanted justice. I got it. But it came with a cost. And honestly, I don't even know if it was worth it.